To another session with Firdous using the Paintology drawing app from the Google Play Store. So I did a class earlier on the Paintology channel, and if you've come to this live session, I will do another portrait drawing. So hopefully, sorry for leaving. If you have been on the other one, I left quite abruptly. But this was where I left off, and as you can see, it was done showing you the techniques of art to bring it to this stage. Now you will know that there is no myth to drawing portraits because the drawing process can now be distilled into steps using the digital medium. Previously, it was a little difficult to appreciate the way the artist did this because it's difficult to say how much pressure is put in there, what pencil type he's used, and what paper is used. And now you have the digital common platform. You can learn like everyone else, and you won't make the excuse that drawing is a inherent skill that belongs to a handful of people. Yeah. So you can see this one is like, I'm quite pleased with this one, the way it turned out, and I'm gonna try and use the same method as I did for this one and for the female portrait. So let's go back. And as you know, the app is available from the Google Play Store, and I would encourage you to learn art through Paintology because it will allow you to transfer those art techniques to all kinds of art mediums, including traditional watercolor, because what Paintology teaches you are art fundamentals, not the digital tools that so many of you are accustomed to using to making drawings. And you will find that the drawing ultimately becomes reliant on the tools themselves. It's a double-edged sword, even though it allows you to use the tools to overcome some of the limitations of traditional. You are then now limited by the reliance on the tools themselves, and that's what you don't want to do. And Paintology goes beyond this and shows you drawings that's based on techniques, and these techniques are fundamental art techniques or core skills in art, which is available to anyone who wants to learn. Okay, so let me go dive in, and hopefully you have the reference image installed or not downloaded and the app installed, so you can now follow and draw along with me. Very easy, no drawing experience required, and you can draw along with me and take your time, and you don't have to work at the speed that I'm doing. Obviously, I have a lot more experience than you have, but if you do draw like this, you will develop important um, techniques such as tones, the fundamental fundamentals of art, such as tones, values, drawing strokes, form, shape, and textures. Okay, so let's go to draw and pick up the trace image and pick up the female. Excuse me, I had something to eat earlier. It's not caught my throat. So this is the one we're going to draw, the female portrait. And so how do we start? I mean, it will be very hard. This was a question that was raised by someone I showed my digital drawings to a few days back, and she told me I just would not know where to begin. And then I showed her something which was an intermediate step, the first one or two steps of doing the block coloring. And then it was quite an aha moment for her. And then she realized that you build up the drawing. You don't start from zero to finish. It's the problem with most beginners is that they don't know what goes in between from zero to the finish line of any drawing because they've been watching too many YouTube videos of the final product because they like to see something materialize from nothing into a magical piece of art and they're amazed by it. And many just like that for the pure sake of watching it, but there are others who will take the dive and try and learn, and majority will just throw their arms up in the air, and that's it. End of story, end of drawing, and then blame it on a skill set that the others were born with and they have none. So it's a very sad story. If you do, if you do, if you do think that you don't, I mean, if you do want a drawing and if you do drawing, and do not make the excuse that it's a skill set that belongs to a few. They pick up the skill set because they think differently. And there was something very important I mentioned in my first drawing, the drawing I did earlier. The secret to acquiring any skills, and I've written a blog post that you can read on paintology.com. It's called the DPD of acquiring art skills, or any skills for that matter. The secret is to keep an open mind. You know, never ever approach a skill set with the perception that you know a few things or don't. Just go with the perception that you do not know anything. Literally, you do not know anything. You'll just be a sponge to acquire this skill. So that's the one of my biggest tips I can give you. And as we do this drawing, I'll give you more tips on how to how to more tips on the drawing that actually is beneficial to any types of drawing in any art medium or painting for that matter. And I come from a traditional background as well, so keep that in mind. And I also happen to understand digital technology a lot because this app was developed by me and a set of developers, Paintology, but I put the input of my drawing experience and expertise into it. So that's how the Paintology was born. So in trace mode, we have this trace bar here. And believe me, if Picasso, Monet, Cézanne saw this kind of technology, there will be shifting and they'll be rolling about with glee because they would know the capabilities of having such a tool, improving their skills and learning drawing and painting much more rapidly than the traditional way. So this is a very powerful method of drawing and improving your painting skills as well as acquiring the fundamental key skills in drawing and painting. Fundamental core skills mean values, tones, shapes, volume, texture, shading, all these parameters, perspective that come into play in art. And they've been taught in the traditional for many, many centuries, I would say. And now that can be equally applied to digital, and that's what Paintology is based on. I don't think Paintology has got all these marvelous tools to make your drawing. If you're looking for tools, you will become a slave to the tools, I'm sad to say. But if you develop techniques in art, you will become a master of art techniques and apply it to any types of art medium. So, so I don't want to go into too much detail. Let's take a look at this female, right? She's got dark hair, light textures on the face and some blending required around the face. And she's got those fingers holding the onto her left side, her hand, and then we've got the neckline, and we're just going to draw the face, neck, and the hair and the hand. So first thing is we're going to stick to the line brush, as you can see, and take it all the way to 100%. At the end, I'm going to show you how this density works, right? So let's go to about 11% and see if that's a good brush size. So let's pick this color and see if that works. And I think we can probably take it down a tad more, 10%, let's say. Okay. And then let's just do our first pass of the drawing, which is step one of the drawing process. Drawing process is something many artists do not go into or delve into. And I'm going to tell you that the drawing process becomes easier to explain when with the digital medium, and I'll show you how. Because you can first of all follow along with me. Look what I'm doing here. I'm picking out tones by clicking the color picker and then picking the tones in that region, and then pick up the color picker again, pick up the same tone, and notice that the tones get darker as we go to the right, which makes obvious sense, right? There. So we're actually putting down the tones at a broad level of this brush size of her face here, with all the subtle tones that are going around the face. And that's the reason, and that's actually, you can believe that drawing we did earlier of the male took us just over an hour, and I was talking as well at the same time. So again, color picker, and how does this help us? Believe me, it helps you in so many ways that you would not dream about. And that's why I'm telling you, go with an open mind. Be prepared to learn new techniques, new ways. And the digital allows you new ways, new techniques. Be prepared to learn. And so that means keep an open mind. If you come with preconceived ideas of how digital should be done, which many beginners do, when they come and see Paintology, they go, hasn't got layers, hasn't got the hasn't got blending, hasn't got pressure control, hasn't got this, hasn't got. But although I see many great drawings must have taken centuries to do, don't you think that's a little bit of a joke, right? So I don't want you to think like that. I want you to think openly about what techniques are. And if you look at my drawings, you won't tell whether it was done traditionally or digitally, right? And most people would never be able to tell whether it was, majority of people are not able to tell if my drawing was done digitally, traditionally, or it's with some pens or ink or brushes or whatever. They just can't unless they look really close at my drawing strokes. And then majority will probably never guess it was done digitally because I'm not using any tools. Just sticking to the same brush, same line, and just going over first pass of the drawing. So it was quite an eye-opener for me when I realized what the lady was saying, is that I cannot fathom how you got to that point in the level, just like I showed you the portrait earlier. And then if you were following it, you would know exactly how I got there, and you would be able to do the same. And I'm showing you this again, how to do that. Look at that. I'm just confining myself to the tones. What's happening with your appreciation of tones? You are picking up the tonal variation that goes on with this face by picking the color picker and picking the tones, okay? and your tone appreciation of tones rapidly increases as you draw this way. That's the benefit. That's the big benefit. I'm not here to show you. I'm going to make a fantastic. You can go to many YouTube and then they'll show you how you create drawings. But I'm not here to do that. No, I'm here to show you techniques. This is what Paintology is all about, to teach you techniques of art. Okay, it's really fun just doing this. You can see that no drawing experience required here. You can use your finger or your stylus, and I'm using a stylus on this occasion only because I have a problem with my fingers because I've been obviously doing a lot of drawings lately, but can you see if you pick the wrong initially that's what you'll get. And the stylus are easy to come by for any phones, and you can they're like only next to nothing, and if you were to buy on eBay, probably the cost of a chocolate bar. So keep a stylus. If you plan to draw a lot, and if you're drawing for fun, like block coloring is actually a very fun way of drawing because you can see the final finished thing that's unique to your style of drawing, right? After all, nobody else's. To me, this is a bit too big, so the brush is getting too big for this, so I'm going to have to come back again, revisit this place. But in the meantime, I'm just laying down the blocks of color, okay? That's all I'm doing. And I said I would get the neck as well. Right there. And see the tonal changes that are happening right there. That's what's happening as you visualize more of the tones, the better your tonal understanding increases, which is vital to any types of drawings. The reason why I can make impressive drawing just on the phone alone. And you can do the same, And I've also made freehand drawings, of course, but for you to start out with, I'm showing you how to use the trace mode to really help you increase those skills much more rapidly than this is in essence how the people in painting draw or paint. They basically create sort of a blocky, lay down the foundation of the first layers of paint, and then they keep developing it, improving it, and that's the drawing process. But the problem is it's not easy to show in practice, and the reason why it's not easy to show in practice because they're using traditional mediums and not digital medium like I'm doing here, which is easy to show because you can then have the same platform for you to practice along with. So I encourage you that to even if you've got just a little bit of interest in drawing, to try out Paintology to show you how powerful it can be for helping you see drawing and painting in a different way than before, what you thought was possible before. So just basically just doing what I was doing it very quickly, and I don't expect you to go this fast like I am. So pick the tones. Okay. That's all I'm doing, carrying and this is on the phone, as you can imagine. You could use a tablet as well if you want to. So let's see what we have here. Right, we've got this first. And if you're a beginner and you think that I should get the drawing done in one sweeping, you're quite mistaken. I mean, most people look at the portrait, like in an anime, as like shapes, and anime is like all about shapes. And digital drawing happens to be very good for 3D anime type drawings, but not drawings like this in the traditional way. And I use the Photoshop, and I've been using it for years, and I would not use it for drawing, because drawing to me is this, drawing. I'm gonna do the eyes now. And you can see I left out the eyes deliberately, and the reason for that was very simple. Let me save it, because look, because when I'm doing the features, smaller features, and then let me show you. Look at that. Look at the size of that. That brush size is way too big. So this is what we do. Usually, this is a good approach to use. Start off with a brush size broad like this, and then the brush size half of that. Excuse me, something I ate. Half of that, right? Okay, and then we will carry on just following what we were doing again. And you can get into tiny areas now, which we couldn't do before, like the eyeballs here. There, okay. And even then it's way too big, but can you see? What you're doing now is you're transferring the tones of the eyes to your drawing. That's all you're doing. And that's not really requires any skills as such, is it? Right? It's just looking at tones, which is fundamental to drawing, and just doing it that way, right? So we use this brush to fill the areas that we haven't touched, right? And then you will be able to see what the drawing looks like. And that would be one of the drawing steps, which is crucial to understanding the drawing process. And I'm going to show you this in a minute. Okay. Okay. And then let's look at this. We've done this eye, and now we're going to do this eye, okay? Okay, and I'm not too worried about hitting it right first time. There's a lot of beginners will say, I have to get the details of the eyes done, then I can work my way out. No, don't do that. I'd discourage you to work not in that way. Draw it like this. It's freehand. It takes you from a broader approach, a general approach from the top down all the way to bottom. So it's like the top down approach, yeah? Going from the top and then working your way down to the details, yeah? So that is really the best way, in my opinion. And that's the way I've been drawing for traditional and digital. Let's keep selecting the color, and you keep selecting. Good. Okay. And then I'm gonna get that, and then get this dark over here, and then get another color which is here, and then fill this area here. Okay. All right, and then okay, so let's have a look what we have here. So we have a face that has improved since we started off with a blank canvas. So this would be considered like a drawing step 2. All right, let's call this a drawing step 2 of the drawing process. And here is something that you need to understand. So pay attention to this point. Apart from the fact that I said when you go to a drawing and go to any kind of drawing, someone who's taking the time of teaching you, you need to be a sponge. Keep your mind wide open and be prepared to absorb anything that they say and then decide if it works for you or not. Don't prejudge, don't have preconceptions. Do not go with preconceptions, especially if you're a total beginner or you're or not, you haven't reached the level of artistry like most people have, other good artists have. And this important fundamental point I'm trying to say is the drawing process means if I had not come to this stage in the drawing process, I would not know what the next step was. Do you see that point? Even though it sounds very obvious, but it is fundamentally key to the whole drawing process. If you don't get to this step, this is why the person who asked me the question how you get from and make that drawing on your phone, she's looking at the end product and she has no clue where to begin. And then I showed her the first 2 steps of my drawing, and then it was an aha moment for her. Then she realized that I was obviously building up the photo through steps. And that is the reason why you can reach photorealism with ease, relative ease on a phone, if you like photorealistic drawings. Okay, so what do you have here? So now it's telling us that we've made this, and I can see the left eye needs to be done, right? But I'm not doing that with the brush we have because it's just too big. You may think that's the right brush, but it's not. So we can see there's a lot of things that needs to be done. So again, we started at 10%. Now we've reduced it to half that. So it's the rule of thumb is the half brush method, right? So now let's take it down to, because I want to improve those eyes, and the eyes are the windows to the world, right? So I want to do those eyes, and I'm going to use the same method I used earlier. So I'm going to switch between the actual reference eyes and my eye, and then try and replicate this. See, this is the brush I have, right? And it's still big. By all means, it's not that small, right? If we zoom in, and that's the reason why the phone can be such a powerful tool for even photorealistic drawings. You may not think that, but it can be. And it's because of this feature, the zoom feature. Okay, it's still quite big. So I'm going to go through it very quickly and just lay down the first. And then you'll see how rapidly you can make this drawing rapidly with no tools whatsoever. Right, and then correct that color, right, correct this, and then get this color, okay, and then we have this color there. Select the hair girl, right, okay, and then we have this band here, okay, and then we have a dark band here. Okay. And then you'll see that that's just doing this allowed me to create details that you didn't think was possible. So you gotta be with an open mind, because you might be aghast with the results that you achieve, you know. You will be aghast with the results. Trust me, you'll be aghast with the results that you can achieve with such minimalistic effort. So let's look at that. So the right eye, do you see how that little bit of work changed the whole look of the right eye? And let's do the same with the left hand. And I can tell you now, 2.2% is still thick brush for this eyes. And then you're right, you guessed it, we're going to go down even more when it comes to the details. Okay, so now look at these. The eyelashes, they're way too big for this brush, but nevertheless, we can still lay down the fourth, is it the fourth path that we've done of this line drawing? We were probably in the fifth or something like that. Look at this. This is black. Okay. So use this method of drawing. It really will help you a lot. Okay, so let's have a look. Yeah, so much better, isn't it? Now we can see that we've still got that little white inside that. Let's take that white out, otherwise she looks like a ghost, doesn't she? And let's do the same thing we did. Just then look at that night brown that goes down like that. Okay. Okay. So that's what we have here. And now, can we do anything with this small brush on the other features of her face? Yeah. And then, yeah, you can see that these are very prominent features that define the nose. And then we'll just put those down for now. Yeah. And then we have the lips. Let's do the lips here. So we've got this dark region here, and then this bit here. Okay. I just picked any. Honestly, there was no intention of picking a particular subject. You can download your own image into trace mode and just do it from families, right? You don't have to do celebrities all the time or even unknown faces. Do it for your family. In fact, I was told by a friend of mine to do drawings of wedding couples, because I've been going to weddings lately, and told me that you could do digital drawings of that. Okay. Just defining the lips, because they are right part of the feature, isn't it? just go here. Sorry, there. There. And this color right there. Alright, and then let's see what it looks like. Look at that. It just brings more life into this whole drawing, isn't it? It's just so little effort. You can do a portrait in relatively easy time using this method. So now we're at a drawing step, in one of the drawing steps, and we know we could not go to the next step had we not arrived there. It seems very obvious, but unfortunately I'm going to have to keep drilling it to beginners because they just don't get it. You know, they just think they know when they watch, but they don't know nothing. In fact, you have to, and that's what I'm saying, you have to know, keep your mind like a sponge. Do not have preconception ideas when you come to draw. Just absorb it. And the more you learn, the more faster you get to your goals, yeah? So let's see what we have here. And then I can do a few things. I could say, well, let me tidy up the hair on this side, right? Let's go here. Let's tidy up the hair on this side. Or let me tidy up this. You can see here. Good, tidy up that, yeah. And then tidy up the finger because I've got the smaller brush. I haven't operated the smaller brush on the other details. So this is an opportune time to just go here and then just clean up the areas that it's an opportune time, yeah, because it's a smaller brush, right? And then you started off with a broad brush, you might as well clean up the areas like this, right? So there's so many areas that you can touch and clean up on, right there. And then I'm gonna, because I've kept the white, I've deliberately moved my trace bar to my canvas. See that? Just clean up the edges. And then here, anywhere with the bigger brush, it's like made some crude marks, right? You tidy it up. Excellent way of tidying it up, right? And also you can tidy, while you're tidying up the tones as well, isn't it? Because you're now more in the underlying tone rather than the tones of that you picked up with the broader brush, right? There, look at that color. Look at this. See that? See that? There, it just goes here. Then here. Then this brown here. Right there. Right, nothing too detailed. Just, this improves your drawing strokes tremendously. And then here you can see that the darker areas, so just put that there. And then what have we got here? We've got some dark areas, light, dark areas here. And then just going around. All right, and just the brush here that's coming up that way. And then let's see what we have here. So it's cleaned up on the right side, so it looks a little better, doesn't it? And then I can see we can do the hands as well. So we've got a smaller brush and we can actually do details. Let's save this. Okay. So just keep in mind that this is to help you to learn. If you're looking to get entertained, you might want to check out my videos of all the videos that I've done in faster mode. There's many of them to keep you busy, and they've been done freehand, portrait, all different types of drawing. I don't differentiate. I don't have anything specific. I do all kinds of drawing, and I usually like nature, and that's the reason I do it. And I've just got doing portrait only because there's a lot of interest from people doing portraits. So hence this portrait. So again, just use the advantage, take advantage of this. Take advantage of this smaller brush to refine the edges. Right, that's all there is. Let's see. All right, so let's have a look. Wow, even her hands are looking really good, isn't it? So just clean it up here. So where are we? Yeah, you can see how every little is pushing us towards a drawing that we can be proud of, right? So what's happening here? So I'm going to take that and just quite a light color, so I might play around with that. It's too black, too grayish. I'm just cleaning it up. Alright, so okay. The hair look good? I think so. So okay, so now we've reached this step, and then we're gonna ask ourselves, what more do we need to do? Well, obviously, she looks like she's been pieced together like Frankenstein, isn't it, with all the skin grafts and that. And we need to change that, isn't it? So I think a good idea would be to do the blending here to show you this. Let's save this. Always get into the habit of saving, because there are very rare occasions when I've lost an hour or two's of work, and you don't want that. So habit of saving is good. And it's saved in my paintings, by the way. So how are we going to do that? Get the tone value. So let's take a look at her, the real image. We're not drawing the right arm, okay? Just like I said, the neck, the left, the fingers, and that. So we're going to create the tones that come with that. So we could carry on the using the tinier brush and then just work our way to getting localized tones that way, but that's too tedious. So let's look at this on her right eye. Let's focus on her right eye there, and then let's see what we have here. We got a light tone here, but we seem to be carrying it too far and down. So I'm going to do this. So let's take the density all the way to 7%, and let's take that to 8%, and let's see if we can carry the light into the dark. So there you are. See what's happening here. What is happening? And I will explain what's happening. here what I'm doing is it's sort of blending, isn't it? Here what I'm doing is very simple. By lowering the density, I'm able to lower the opacity. That means the hardness or density settings of the brush. So which means that by lowering it, we are decreasing the opacity and then we're making it like a pencil. So the more strokes we do, the more we can increase the density of that color, okay? That's all it is. You should give it a try. It's better that you try it instead of me just trying to explain with so many words, yeah? So here, then you can see here, I'm going to increase the brush here. This is where, and then pick this tone and then take it. Try and merge. See how magically it's merged almost? And then from the left side, we're going to merge this color. Look, see how that magically, just somehow magically just, and then here on the right side, I'm going to pick that color and then bring that tone here. Right, and then so it merges with that. And then on this side, you can see there's a little bit of a darkness associated with it. So that's actually too much of a brush size, as you can see. So we're going to take that down to match that localized area. And just keep an eye out on that so we know where the dark. There, can you see it? That's practically merged, isn't it? And then if it goes too far out, pick the lighter color adjacent to it and let it retreat, go back, okay? All right, there you are. So what do we have here? Let's have a look. Look how we merged that right side. Can you see it? Let's keep going here. And then you can see it's a very sharp edge. So to do that, we need to just take it all the way as far as possible. Take it all the way down, pick that color, and create that. There's no tonal variation as I assumed before. So just a dark face there, and then it just going there. Okay, that's all. Alright, there, can you see it? So now we can take this color and we can bring the tones down and then match this area here. Okay, there. And then let's get tonal variations here. So this color, right, so we bring it down, take the brush size up. It's easier to blend with a bigger brush. Do you see what happened there? It's too keen to get to the outside. Let's look at it. And then you can see that this brown is itching to go to that region, yeah? So here we're gonna let this very, very subtle, and then there is some of that there. Let's just diffuse that here. Right. And then can you see, pick that chase, the darker tone, take it out there. Okay, that's it. That's all there is to it. And then you can see there's a lighter tone, so we can increase that and then take that tone down if you feel it's too then carry it up like so, and really diffuse it. So you can see how that was achieved there. And now we can do the, now we can see the nose is sticking out like a sore thumb. I should say sore nose. So I can do that, this bit here. And look at this tonal variations going on. Look at that. The tonal variation here. And that was the reason for picking the big brush, you know, when we started off. Because we managed to pick up that tone, right? But we want to deaden it. That's the perimeter of the nose. So what we're going to do is increase that. I want to get the actual perimeter of that nose. So that perimeter of that nose is created by the dark tones. Right, so let's get that down to as much as we can. And then see how far I was outside of the actual nose. Right there. Okay, there. Then we have this tone here. Okay, so we have that nose part. So we're trying to just get this region up. Let's go down here and then pick a color. This tone, the mid-tone, just blend it here. Okay. We can see what that looks like, right? If this doesn't work, we could try something else. It's coming along, isn't it? Now, what's wrong with it? Well, let's look at it. Here, here, no, here. Oops. Here, here, here. So you can see there's a brown tone that needs to go up to that. So I'm going to take it. I increase the brush to cover the area that I want the blended. You see what I'm saying? That's the brush. That's how I get the brush size, in case you're wondering. Right there. And then look, we've even got that dark tone here. So I'm going to pick that dark tone and then take it here, right into that region. And then what do we have here? We've got a darker tone at nose. Right, and then we have this tone here. Just carry this tone here. Right, and then we have, can you see this tone here? So while keeping it, just bring it down. Right? Look what I have, 10% density. Right, and then we have this very light brownish tone. Right. I could take that. Then it goes here. Right. It's just not, I'm not happy with that. Just a brownish tone here. There. Right. Then we have this mid-tone on top of the nose. Right. Very easy. See how that's done? Very easy. It's a reddish tone. And then we have this nose there. It's got darker, and then a darker tone there. Just following what the eye sees. So I'm carrying some of the tones. So let's have a look. You see how we managed to achieve that blending there? So you can see where we're going with this. I hope you were able to achieve some form of training here. And let's just finish this off here. So I've got some here on that dark tone, right there. So just follow the right there. Okay, so just blending that in there. So very quickly going through that. It's quite fun actually when you get into it. See, there's very light tones, hints of light tone that we can just shade here. And then we got this tone here that we can stretch to that region. And then we got this tone here that we can stretch to this region. Yeah, and then we got this black tone. So quite a large brush. So when you get to the eyebrows, reduce the brush size. Right. Then now we're coming to this area, and looking more areas that we need to blend. And then let's see what I have here. Very good blending going on here, isn't it? Now let's blend on the right side here. And let's look. So we need a brush size that's sort of reflective of that region. So we just pick, there's a dark here, and then it gets lighter. So let's start off with the dark tone, right? Right, and then just work our way down, right there. And then we have a light region, still a bit darker relative. Right, then what we have here on this side. So concentrate on the areas that have tonal variations. This is actually getting you to understand deeply on okay. So now we go. Let's finish the left side of the face, and then we'll probably call it a day, and then I will finish up the painting in another. So I don't want to take up too much of your time. So let's go here, pick up color here, and that. This is all blending that you can do. This is quite high density, so it won't be blended if you don't have a low setting density. And then what do we have here? Right. So if you want the actual color of the original, then select it using the color picker. Yeah. Okay. There you are. I have to admit, I'm getting so much better in this, feeling more comfortable with drawing blending. This bit here, it's a little darker. Okay, there. Okay. All right, and then we got here the sort of, and then just follow the direction of the shade. Okay. Let's follow the direction of the shade. And then we've got a little color, we've got more colors here, sort of darker colors that obviously that more under the eyes, right? And then it turns into a more lighter color here, right? Well, that's what we're trying to capture, and we do that with the density setting. Okay, and then what do we have here? We've got these dark colors that are going, so take according to the shape of the, because we're getting close to the eye, we don't want to venture too out. Right there. And then what do we have here? We've got a darker color that we can just spread out. Ooh, it's a little too dark. So I'm gonna go make that retreat somewhat. Right, and let's have a look. Well, that face is looking pretty good, isn't it? So now what we could do is finish off the lips. I just want to do more on the lips so I can show you this. It's quite fun actually, I have to admit. Right, 1.42%. Right, and then have this color. Right, go down that way. And then if it's not there, see, that's actually a lot bigger. Can you believe it? Right, and then we have this. Right there, so just a little darker. And then we have this color. Notice I've got the density high in this lips. And only because I'm using smaller brush and I can get away with it. Okay, and then here's like a little yellow. Then here, so just blending it. So you can blend at a higher density settings. Doesn't have to be exactly the very low all the time, right? This is the you know what it is, the lips. And here. Okay, and then here. And then we got a little bit of the white. You know, the upper lip has a white. There's a white area to it. Oh, it's a bit too harsh, so I'm going to take that down. Okay. And then you got that tiny specks. Then we have this color, just finishing off. The density is quite low, so just using this dense setting here. Can you see that there? And then there's that bit white. You really do understand. You really begin to understand more of how these tones play a part in the image that you're trying to replicate. And here. Okay. There. Let's see what we produced there. That's better, isn't it? And now you can see that we need to fix that. So increase the brush here. And then let's see what we have here. We've got this bit here. Ooh, that is quite dense, isn't it? So we really need to take that down. I forgot to move that down. Right, so here. And let's have a look. It's not that quite. Actually less there. Down here, mix that color. This makes it, take the border away. Now you see that looks so much better. Right. And then we have that darker region, which we could just play into that, merge that bit there. And we should be done, right? Yes, sort of done, isn't it? It looks quite photorealistic, I have to admit. And let's do a bit of fingers here. Can you see these fingers? Very easily done, isn't it? There. So I'm gonna actually cut off here and finish this drawing at another time. I'll finish this and post it so you can actually see your final drawing. So please, by all means, provide comment, feedback. And sorry if I wasn't able to get this particular drawing. Did I get it? I think I managed to pull this drawing and to join the upcoming tutorial. I'm a bit new to this live streaming, but I will get better. And if you have any feedback, comments, please do so. And I hope you've downloaded the app and tried it for yourself to see the power of it. And also subscribe and post to the community as well. And I can provide you with some feedback. Thank you for watching. Until next time. Bye-bye.